Welcome to episode 1 of RAID DAT BASE, where we search the entire internet for the most popular base designs and put them to the test, for educational purposes only. So first up is this 3-story all-triangle base, which in all honesty looks pretty efficient. However, it is listed at 45 rockets to raid the first and second floors, so the real question is, will it hold up? Okay, so here is the base. It was built step by step from the video that showcased it, and over here I've set up my auto turret. This will cover the front door and both of the sides. I have a bunch of boom as well as a stack of 100 rockets so we can count easy at the end. I also have all the stuff you usually need when you're raiding. Alright, well let's get to it. So I'll start by 4-rocketing this set of stone walls. Now I did think about going through the embrasures on top since I could splash them and get deeper at the same time, but the bottom floor of this base seems very thin for claiming 45 rockets. As you can see, I'll be doing this in real time so I get at least a ballpark estimate on the time it takes from start to finish. Okay, so with those walls gone, I now see the HQM wall, which will be my main target for the next 15 rockets. But we can also splash everything on the right side at the same time, and we are still fully covered by the turret. So I can tell already that the 2 walls after the HQM wall should have been sheet metal. If that was the case here though, you would have been able to see it from the outside, which would yell TC behind here, which means you would have needed to add even an extra layer of stone honeycomb after that, and all that gets expensive. With some more stone gone, we now see the garage door path on the second floor, which I think is actually the jump up to the roof, so we no longer have to worry about people running up to the roof. Now my next 3 rockets are going to aim to do full splash here and break that garage door while doing so. The garage door is now gone, and we can see there are 2 more that go even deeper into the base. I can actually aim in the middle once again to keep damage on that HQM wall, and break a second garage door in the process. After 1 more rocket, I have broke through the sheet metal, and we have our first exposed loot room. Now this is on the second floor, so I most likely didn't hit main loot, but my goal is to keep going on this HQM now. After 2 more rockets, the garage door is broken, and we have another loot room. But unfortunately for us, there is a glass window on it, so we'll have to wait to loot it. 2 more rockets later, and we have now broken through a floor 1 sheet metal wall, which is actually inside of one of the bunkers. I can see the level 3, and most of the good loot is probably behind the garage door. I wouldn't consider this main loot, but I would assume there is valuable loot in there. Back onto the HQM wall, these things are really strong. I've been putting damage onto it for about 3 minutes at this point. Now notice I'm not wasting any rockets trying to go through those windows since they have 4 rockets each and are a waste unless there are external TCs. 1 more rocket exposes the TC. I'll assume it's locked since that is the best practice, so I'll use some expo to break it open. When you're breaking TC in an online raid, you usually want to place a new one down quickly so that the base owners cannot. Now I failed badly at doing this in the video, but I'll continue to seal as if I was on a normal server. If you have the materials, you can go for a full seal on all of the broken walls, but sealing the TC should be your first priority. Plus, in this case, if we look back, we still have the auto turret covering our sides. Now that we have TC, we can first take off this window, which I think is the main loot. The next thing I'll want to do is remove that window we saw on that second floor loot room earlier. Laddering up is probably the quickest at this point. My jump skills though are not the quickest. You know what, let's just put a second ladder here and go up. Once again, we can now easily remove this window and the embrasures, and this loot room is ours. We're only 19 rockets in, and we have like 85% of the base. We have this garage door, which we should probably do next. There is another loot room here, which technically took more rockets to get to, so let's open up that one first instead. I'll grab the window, and we might as well break both of these doors out with 3 rockets. Aiming at the top here, we'll also put 3 rockets worth of damage to the ceiling tile, which may come in handy later. With those garage doors gone, we can climb up and once again simply pick these up, and we have access to this loot room as well. Our final rockets will go to open this garage door, but where will I splash? Oh, I forgot to grab this window. Alright, so I'll aim onto this window frame, which should break both garage doors, since I'm not entirely sure if there could be a loot room behind the one on the left side. 2 more rockets broke the right side door, which means it took damage earlier from splash, and 1 more here should break the left one. I now know there is no more loot rooms. It does look like there is something worth it back there, but if we do have a closer look, there isn't anything. Except for 1 small box, which ironically is the best place to put your rockets. In a real raid, I wouldn't go any further than this, but if you wanted to, you could hit the garage door with 3 more rockets and break most of the stone wall, and you could then jackhammer the rest. So overall, the base took 25 rockets and 9 explode to raid fully. That's almost half of the 45 rocket cost showed on the thumbnail. It took about 5.5 minutes to raid. Let's call it 6.5 because I did do a little bit of flying around. Now I do still like this base. The use of the stair bunkers on 2 triangles is pretty cool. The base is still overall pretty strong. I mean, 25 rockets is still 25 rockets. But 45 rockets, that's a whole other tier of base design, unfortunately. Our next base uses this newer spiral stairs bunker, which can be opened with a triangle frame. This opens the hole and allows access to the inside of the bunker. To close it, you break this twig, which allows the spiral stairs to unwind and seal it. Now the entrance of this one is heavily fortified, and the builder claims 45 rockets plus. Let's see if it holds up to the test. Here is the base in its full form. I also have the boom. I have 100 rockets for an easy count, and also ensigns in case I need them. Okay, so what are we going to do here? This base looks wide enough for 45 rockets, so I think I'm going to top down it. First ladder over the front door. My goal is to climb up quickly on this corner to avoid the peek downs. These ladders should do. Okay, so I know I can't get into these gaps without a second player, but either of the 2 top floors are the same raid cost, so I'll just take this garage door. With the garage door gone, we can see this top part is pretty much just a shell, probably for heli storage. We'll take this hatch. There's a hatch going down another floor, which is our next target. There's also 3 garage doors that lead to the same place on the window floor. Taking the garage doors is pointless, but there is another hatch right below that goes down even further. So far we've only used 5 rockets and we're almost in the bunker. We are now at the bunker seal, and I want to show you something. Down here there are a bunch of traps right before the entrance underneath us. There is a total of 9, all facing the entrance, so trying to skip them would most definitely be impossible. There is a trick though, and here is the weakness of this type of bunker. If we stand on a corner of this frame, we can place a triangle which will literally open the bunker. Now just to be clear, I do not have building priv, it's just possible to place twig triangles on other people's bases. Now aiming a rocket right in the center of the triangle will break the twig, but it will also break 6 out of the 9 traps. To break the last 3, we simply need to place another ladder and repeat the process 1 more time. When you do this, make sure you don't fall in after you place the twig, or you will definitely have to respawn. For the second rocket, just once again aim right down at the middle of the triangle, and that will take care of the last 3 traps. If we jump down now, we even have a new opening we can stand in to double check. Next we want to place a triangle so that we can jump down and get into this half-height space. We actually have all of the loot that was stored here now. What we're going to do here now will save us a ton of rockets. We're going to skip the entire bunker part while simultaneously opening all of the loot rooms. To do this, we'll need to open the bunker with a triangle frame and splash these 2 HQM walls with rockets. This will take 15 rockets, and we must replace the frame in between each one. It's kind of annoying to replace the twig each time, but unfortunately, it's necessary. I hear stuff breaking already. One thing you can also do here is once the frame above breaks, you can place twig here to feel a bit safer from the top. As you can hear in the background, there is just a bunch of things breaking from splashing this one spot. So stuff is starting to break all around us now as well, so let me use one more rocket and then we can see what we've uncovered. Okay, so it looks like we now have access to a loot room on the left and a utility room on the right, but let's keep going. Now the loot room floor has collapsed and we also have access to what looks like a furnace room back there. The half walls are also starting to fall apart around us, so let's stand in this corner to keep a safe distance. More stuff underneath just crumbling at this point. We should almost be there. Now the bunker is completely gone, along with the ceiling above us, and if we have a look around, I'm seeing tons and tons of boxes, which is the main loot. We can also see the TC room, which we'll take next. So we're a little bit over 6 minutes here and we're about to take TC. You can place the new TC into this square and you can seal it off if you want with a wall and a roof. For the video, I'll just skip this part. Let's take a look around to see if there's anything else we could do from up here. The thing with top-down rating is you always have this good vantage point from above. Let's actually jump down now. This is all of the loot in the bunker. This garage door does look interesting to me, so I think it's worth raiding. Okay, so the level 3 is behind it. We have the loot under it as well. So that looks like it's everything. As you can see, splash damage from top-down rating absolutely destroys all of this base as a solo in just over 7 minutes. So overall, it took me 29 rockets, 34 explo, and 7 minutes to raid this base completely as a solo. This is 16 plus rockets less than what was advertised. The weakness of this base is obviously the drop downs being on top of each other without half walls in between. This bunker also doesn't actually work since anyone can place twig and triangle frames to open it without any building priv. I do like this base though. I feel like if raiders chose to go through walls or doors here, they would be making a huge mistake, perhaps then bringing it closer to the raid cost of 45 plus rockets that was advertised. Well, that's it for episode 1 of Raid Dat Base. Like always, if you have something to add, you can contact me in the Discord, link in the description below, or down in the comments section. See ya!